Welcome back, Fantasy Faithful. I'm Amber Storm with your Week 13 Fantasy Football Update. We're down to 1 week left in the regular season, and this week delivered absolute chaos. More betrayals than a Game of Thrones wedding, more shocking twists than the end of The Sixth Sense, and more drama than finding out your Christmas presents got shipped to the wrong address. We'll cover it all and preview a new segment as well. Portia, what's happening at the top?
Well, Amber, we've got a new team on top this week. Certified Bailey's has risen back to the throne, moving up one spot to first place at 10-3 with a 3-week winning streak. The Baileys have officially taken over the top spot with just 1 week left. From starting the season at 10th place in week 1 to sitting on top heading into the final week, that's not just a comeback, that's a Cinderella story for the ages. You have totally ridden the easiest schedule in the league to its maximum effect. Some might say, of course, you're on top when your opponents average less than 100 points per game. But I say that even though setting your lineup seems to be enough, surely there's some genius in there. After all, you went from maybe I'll make playoffs to bow down peasants, I own this league. The marriage power-up has reached its final form. And in one of the most unexpected twists of the season, Unstoppajo dropped one spot to second at 9-4 after losing this week. After being at number 1 or number 2 for the last 8 weeks, Jose takes the L and watches Certified Bailey's steal the throne with just 1 week to go. You're still in great playoff position, but that top spot slipped through your fingers like trying to hold on to icy sidewalk snow. This is the kind of heartbreak that stings. Hope you don't get stuck in second like Ralphie in A Christmas Story. You've got 1 week to try and reclaim that number 1 seed. Rise to the occasion stayed at third and got back in the win column. After that brutal week 12 loss, Rice said, "Not today, bitches," and is positioned beautifully heading into the final week. You're sitting pretty at 8-5, and barring a complete disaster, you're playoff bound. This is redemption energy after that brutal mid-season collapse from 7 straight weeks at number 1 to falling all the way to third. Glad you finally started managing your team again. Huda also stayed at 4th despite losing this week. You're teetering on the edge of the playoff picture with 1 week left. Your 2-week winning streak ended at the worst possible time. Your current 7-6 record means you need to win next week or pray that nobody below you catches fire. The playoff dream is alive but fragile. Remember, I only date winners, so bring it home, big boy, and you'll make it into the favorites list on my phone.
Now for the chaos below the playoff line, and it's absolute madness, Amber. 5 teams are tied at 5-8. 5! That's half the league all bunched together in mediocrity like sardines in a can. Saquon Panero stayed at 5th at 6-7. You're basically out, but mathematically there's a sliver of hope if the chaos gods smile upon you in week 14. After all those winning streaks and losing streaks, after the weekly highs and weekly lows, after the name changes and the emotional roller coaster, after Portia moving on to Who Dat, you need to outscore Who Dat by 64 points, and he has to lose. Time to scoreboard watch and hope for chaos. But can we talk about Zoo absolutely exploding back to relevance? You jumped 2 spots to 6th at 5-8 and posted the weekly high score for the 2nd time this season. After a brutal 4-week losing streak, Zoo said, "I'm not dead yet," and dropped bombs on the entire league. You're 5-8 and eliminated from the playoffs, but hey, there's still the consolation round. At the very least, you went out swinging. This is the kind of screw you guys, I'm still dangerous performance that keeps hope alive. Green Bowl Packers fell 1 spot to 7th with a 6-week losing streak. 6 consecutive losses. This is no longer a collapse. This is a catastrophic implosion for the history books. You went from 5-2 to 5-8. That's going 0-6 over the last 6 weeks of the season. This is the fantasy football equivalent of the 2007 Mets blowing a 7-game lead in September, except somehow worse. You were a lock for playoffs, and now you're tied at 5-8 with 4 other teams in the basement. You've got 1 week to try and salvage some dignity and avoid going 0-7 to end the season. Can you stop the bleeding, or will it be 7 straight losses? Galveston Dolphin Sharks fell 1 spot to 8th at 5-8 with a 3-week losing streak and posted the weekly low score this week. 3 straight L's and the weekly low. You didn't just lose, you lost UGLY. Were you looking in the mirror too hard? Seriously, how are the Green Bowl Packers still ahead of you? The Dolphin Sharks have officially been harpooned, gutted, and served on ice. You're 5-8 and running out of oxygen fast. This legend is quickly becoming forgotten history.
You might think it smells better out here, but you'd be wrong. The cold just freezes the scents in your nose so you can savor it longer. I swear this is my last season. I don't care if I have alimony. Try to garnish my checks when I work flipping burgers. The only thing keeping me interested continues to be that I'm covering the most exciting part of this league. Point. Antonio Rangel stayed in ninth at 5-8 with a 3-week winning streak. 3 straight wins. This man went from 1-7 with a historic 7-game losing streak to winning 4 of his last 6 games. 4 out of 6. That's a 67% win rate over the final stretch. Antonio has now matched the record of 4 other teams. The man who was the laughingstock of the league, who we thought might never win again, is now tied with Green Bowl Packers, who was 5-2, Galveston Dolphin Sharks, Zoo, and Obi-Wan Jacoby. This is the greatest redemption arc since Rocky Balboa. You may not have made playoffs, but you've earned something more valuable, a chance to avoid punishment. Can you make it 4 straight wins in Week 14 and finish the comeback tour on a high note? And speaking of the Porta shit, Obi-Wan Jacoby stayed at dead last. Yes, you're tied with 4 other teams at 5-8, but you're in last place on points for and against. The Force has completely abandoned you and joined the dark side. You're 5-8, same as Antonio, same as Galveston, who got the weekly low, same as Zoo HTX, who got the weekly high, same as Green Bowl Packers, and yet somehow you're still at the bottom looking up. That's not bad luck. That's the universe actively rooting against you. Are you trying to go first to worst just to get that award? Or are you so masochistic that you're looking forward to the punishment? Seriously, dude. Maybe it's time for some professional help, or maybe just some of Bailey's scheduling luck.
The bottom line, 1 certified Baylors, 2 Unstoppajoe, and 3 Rice have all clinched playoff spots heading into the final week. Whodad is sweating bullets in 4th, while Saquon is hoping to spoil Whodad's party. 5 teams are bunched at 5-8 and have been relegated to hoping for the consolation round. Green Bowl Packers' historic 6-game losing streak continues. And Antonio has won 3 straight games in the greatest comeback story of the season. Week 14 is the final week of the regular season. This means that we'll have a special segment after next week discussing the highs and lows of the season and previewing the playoffs. This is in addition to our normal standings update. The last playoff spots and seeding is on the line this week. Will certified Baylors lock up the number 1 seed? Can Unstoppajoe reclaim the top spot? Is Whodat safe, or can Saquon exact some revenge and catch them? Will Green Bowl Packers' losing streak hit 7? Can Antonio make it 4 straight wins? This is it. Everything comes down to Week 14. Until next time, may your playoff hopes stay alive and may your final week be less stressful than last-minute Christmas shopping.